Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you don't know by now, Liv is here. My baby's been born. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on our birth story because obviously it didn't go as planned. She was early. So just to fill everyone in on what happened, it was a Saturday 3 weeks ago. June 23rd to be exact, and it was a pretty chill Saturday. I didn't really do a whole lot. We went out to lunch, took MJ to his football game, which got rained out, and then we literally spent the whole evening folding baby clothes and organizing the baby's clothes and her room and everything like that. That was all we did. That evening around 10:15, I went to the restroom and I had blood, and it was a pretty substantial amount of blood and pressure. So I was like, no, why is this happening? So I freaked out, got myself together, called the doctor, and of course they told me to immediately go to the hospital because of my previa. Obviously it was really risky and we couldn't wait for anything. So I got to the hospital about 10:45. They hooked me up to the monitor, hooked the baby up to the monitor, and pretty much told me I couldn't get out of the bed, and they were going to keep me overnight and monitor me. I literally couldn't even get up to use the bathroom. I had to use a bedpan. Yeah, totally embarrassing. So I just knew for sure, okay, because the pressure had stopped, everything, the bleeding stopped. So I'm like, okay, they probably will just keep me here for a couple days and then they'll let me leave and we'll still move forward with our C-section date of 7/2. This is what I thought in my head because I really wanted that date, obviously. So that didn't happen. So overnight, the nurse came in and checked on me a couple of times. She like had me move on my side, but gently. She's like, okay, just shift over here, shift over there. And I'm just like, what's happening? Is everything okay? She said that the baby's heart rate had increased. It went to like 178 twice for 3 minutes or something. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Because usually you hear the opposite. The heart rate dropped. So I'm like, her heart rate's going up. Like, what's happening? So obviously she was under stress. So I didn't have any pain, or I wasn't really feeling anything. But the monitor had showed that I was having contractions. So the next morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, everyone rushes in. They have forms for me to fill out. They're hooking me up to the IV. They're literally going crazy. And I had already had an IV in. They were giving me fluids overnight. They had put in another IV. And they're like, okay, you're going to have a C-section at 9 o'clock. And I'm like, 9 a.m. I was like, no, I don't want to have a C-section today. This isn't my date. Like, this is June 24th. I'm supposed to have my baby on July 2nd. Like, what are we doing right now? But obviously, I didn't have a choice in the matter. And I don't know what the word is. I was shocked. I literally couldn't even say anything. Like, those 2 hours, I probably said like 10 words. Like, I was just like, what's happening? This is not happening. But it did. So the other thing that was freaking me out is I wanted a specific doctor to do my C-section, and his partner was on call. He was being called in, so that was a good thing, but he wasn't there yet, and I was panicking because we had already discussed like what my options were in terms of the C-section. So since my last office visit, the baby was now breeched, so she wasn't before, she was head down. So that was nerve-wracking. And then with the previa being in the front, anterior, it also affected how they would go in for the C-section. So I had previously discussed with the doctor I liked, I'm not trying to call names here. He said that he could do it still using my same incision from my previous C-section. It would just be tricky. And I think she's waking up. Give her a few minutes. Sometimes she just makes noise. But the other doctor wanted to cut me like vertically, and he's like, it's too risky and all of this. And I was like, oh my God, I can't have this guy doing a C-section because that's not what we discussed. That's not how I want my C-section done. I was low-key panicking. But then he showed up literally 5 minutes before the procedure. He did a scan on me to assess it himself again. And he was like, no, I think I can still use the same incision. I think we can move forward what we talked about previously. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because this other guy, I didn't like what he was talking about. So, you know, they wheel you in, you get your spinal epidural, and you're on the table, and everything was just moving so fast. The next thing I know, they pulled her out. I'm like, oh, I don't hear her crying. Like, what's happening? They had to, like, you know, move her around. And they're like, oh, she's so cute. She's so little. So she was born at 37 weeks and 1 day. She was really tiny. She was 4 pounds, 11 ounces. So because she had such a low birth weight, I didn't get her right away. They took her to the NICU, and they had to check her blood sugar, regulate her body temperature, her blood pressure. Once everything could get regulated, then they brought her into me in the recovery room. So it ended up being 2 hours that she was in the NICU, which wasn't terrible. And my son was in there with her, like, so they got to be in there and actually like see her during all her procedures and tests. And meanwhile, I was just like waiting, like, here we are, waiting again, because that happened with me with MJ. But that was just the reason, the way they did it back then. Now I was looking forward to them actually putting the baby on you immediately. So still didn't get that. So she came in 2 hours later, and they told me they had given her a bottle of formula because they were trying to get her blood sugar up, and they let me nurse her right away or try to attach her, which was challenging because she was so little. But it was just like a whirlwind. Didn't go as planned, and I'm OCD. But all in all, she was healthy. She was perfect. She had to pass like a car seat test before we left because of her size being so small. The other thing is they ran the test on her heart. It came back all clear. So the VSD she had previously had closed up and resolved on its own in utero. So that was awesome. Pretty much everything was like perfect. Like I couldn't have imagined anything going any better if it had to go as unplanned as that did. And you know, me and my OCD, I was like, my nails aren't done. I didn't get a chance to get my eyebrows done. Like I was freaking out because I had all these appointments lined up, what I was gonna do in preparation. But at least I had gotten my hair done. At the end of the day, it is what it is. And sometimes labor and delivery will not go as planned, but as long as the end result is a healthy baby, it is what it is. So I did include some videos from the hospital to the end of this, so you guys can see her right when she was born and just everything that happened that first day and a couple days in the hospital. So thank you guys so much for watching, and sorry it took me so long to upload this, but the struggle is real when you have a newborn. So I'm gonna try to also do an update on her just a little later and let you know how she's doing. So other than that, if you have any other questions, just let me know below, and thank you so much for watching.
Okay, go.
Okay. Is that still stuck in?
Yeah, it's the IV.
So MJ, what do you want to say to your baby sister before she gets here?
She's already here for the last one.
Before she's outside.
That you can, thank you for coming in our belly, in your mommy's belly.
Live? L-I-V? L-I-V.
He said 8 something.
No, that was Kaufman.
Oh, I didn't hear what Dr.
Said
Wood
5
said.
something wrong.
And then I changed mine to 685.
I think Blitz can be close.
She's trying to open her eyes.
Hey, little one. It's mommy. Look at your cute little lips.
But don't forget to scan this over here.
Look at
Did
your
you?
cute little lips.
So far, she's up to 4
down and three.
Even with this?
Yep.
No way.
Guys, so
No.
A lot of that's fluid.
Look at her. Before she forgot to take a breath. She sucked so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her. She's hungry. Look at her hands.
Look at her.
Look at her little hands.
Look
She's
at
like,
her. She like grabbing.
yeah, she's give me some food. I was in that
I'm
thing.
hungry.
How big were you when you were born? Do you know?
The same size, I think. No, like this big, like that.
Yeah, that big. Let me let it.
Sleep.
Okay, so this one is AC. She's 39. AC 39, and then we'll say at 10:20. She took 11 cc's and for Mel 22.
Hers are good and she's fine. It's just notification that it's a
Now you can hold her.
37-weeker SGA.
You gotta hold her. You gotta take
cardio
care of her
and
head, put her head on your elbow,
ESC, so cardio is
and get her
notified.
nice and snug up
Nothing for
against
them
you.
to do. I did everything.
What do you think?
What do you think, Kimmy?
They want echo prior to discharge.
Huh?
Testosterone.
You love her?
So it's just notification.
She's heavy,
that
huh?
This baby was supposed to be a section.
Yeah.
That was in your mommy's tummy carrying that around.
And came in and was done.
Now I see what you mean
So
about a back
they wanted to
dumbbell.
You were in your mommy's
before
tummy. You're so
she
cute.
goes home.
She's pretty,
Just
huh?
for both,
She's a
it's just
pretty baby.
notifications. There's nothing they have to do.
Hey, no, she looked like the updated me, boy.
Ew.
Don't get used to getting a hold of me.
Glasses last night,
You gonna
so I
be,
can't see. Sleeping? Fell asleep mid-moon, I guess.
you gonna play?
Hi guys, today we're at the hospital and you probably know why. She came early. We're leaving from the hospital right now. I'm so excited. I feel so excited. And how do you feel, Daddy? I see you do. Look at this. Look at this. See, that's Liv. There's all her stuff. I think you overpacked again. This is like the 50th time you always overpacked.
Better safe than sorry.
Somebody got us those balloons. Let's give a shout out to, I'm sure. We're actually doing this. Thank you. Let's see the baby.
What's her name?
Venus
Liv.
Liv.
Jinx on your soda. You saw your face.
Look at her little face. Look at Big Brother.
We still order.
Daddy's driving. Her face looks red in the video, but it's not. And here's Mommy. I don't know if you can see me. But, oh, she's so cute and so stinking tiny.